afternoon, dear students. How are you all doing? Come on. Okay, fantastic. So, dear students, we have already done the journey of national income accounting. Today, we are on to Keynesian theory of income or Keynesian theory of national income. What does it entail, sir? What does it cover, sir? So, dear students, following are the topics which is included in the Keynesian economics, or you could say Keynesian theory of national income. If you ask me, you will have two sector approach. You will have two sector of national income. Okay. There will be three sectors of national income. I'm talking about what this topic entails. Okay. Not what we will cover today. Four sector of national income. Then we will use, or we will, under each of these approaches, we will study the concepts of equilibrium. Plus we will study the concept of investment multiplier. Plus we will study the concept of investment multiplier. Investment multiplier. So if you ask me, sir, what is included in this head, then these are the topics which is inclusion theory of national income under the Keynesian theory of national income. Cool? Right, sir. As per institute, we have been given, when I say we, it means I myself, and I include you students also. As per ICAI, we have been given 2 classes to complete this. Okay. So what we are going to do is, since we have 2 classes for this, what we are going to target is, we'll try to complete this area in today's class, and in the next class, we will attack on investment multiplier. This is as per the plan that is shared with us. Okay. And if in the above 4, something is not completed, we can adjust it in the investment multiplier class. Okay. So number of classes that you will get here is 2 on this topic as decided by ICAI. Okay. This I have communicated so that accordingly you all can catch up with my speed. Okay. So friends, shall we start? Are we ready, everyone? Come on, guys. Are we ready, everyone? Okay, let's go. Okay, let's go. Since all of us are ready, then I think we should straight away fire. All right, let's go. See, there are 2 sectors. If we talk about 2 sectors, na, please remember, because this is going to be the basis of our future discussion in this topic. 3 sector, 4 sector. I have classified in front of you 2 sector, 3 sector, and 4 sector. Now, friends, let me highlight something for you. When I talk about 2 sector, what do I include in the 2 sector economy? Friends, we include the households. We include the households. Plus, we include the firms. We include the households. Plus, we include the firms. All right. When we talk about 3 sector, we include the households. We include the firms. Plus, we include the government. But if we talk about 4 sector, the 4 sector includes everyone: households. It includes firms. It includes government. And it includes the foreign sector, or the rest of the world, you could say. Foreign sector or the rest of the world, you could say. Okay, everybody? Right, sir. Right, sir. Right, sir. Right, sir. So friends, I'll request each one of you to first of all note this much down. 2 sector, 3 sector, 4 sector. In 2 sector, we will assume that in society we only have household and firm. In 3 sector, we are going to assume we have household, firms, as well as the government. In 4 sector, we are going to assume we have the household, the firm, the government, and the foreign sector. So requesting everybody to note this much down. 4 sector, 3 sector, and 2 sector. I hope everyone has done this. Great. Now, friends, when you were discussing microeconomics or when you were doing microeconomics, you must have heard the term individual demand. You must have heard the term market demand. When you talk about individual demand, or for that matter, market demand, these are microeconomics concepts. I repeat, these are microeconomics concepts. What we are doing right away is a macroeconomic portion, macroeconomic concept, and hence there will be nothing called demand or supply or individual or market demand. It will be aggregate demand. It will be aggregate demand. So in this entire chapter, Keynesian economics, we are going to understand two different terms: aggregate demand, aggregate supply. I will write down the full form if you don't know. Aggregate demand. Aggregate means total demand for all the commodities by all the consumers. All the commodities, all the consumers, not just individual consumer and not just individual commodity, but all the commodities and all the consumers, both inclusive here. And when we talk about AS, friends, it is aggregate supply. Friends, it is aggregate supply. When we talk about AS, it is aggregate supply. Hopefully this much is crystal clear to everyone so that I can move forward here. Yes, sir, you can move forward. So now let's talk about each of them in details. Okay. So there is this aggregate demand and then there is this aggregate supply. So first of all, there is this aggregate demand and then there is this aggregate supply. Okay. Now everyone pay attention. Now everyone pay attention. We are talking about a two-sector economy. Now we are talking about a two-sector economy. Everyone, now we are talking about a two-sector economy. Two-sector, we are talking strictly about two-sector. So don't ask examples or, illustrations from 3 or 4 sector, or else you will confuse yourself only. Okay. So in two-sector now, what happens, friends? Aggregate demand is the demand for all the commodities by all the consumers. So here, aggregate demand includes two things. Consumption. It includes households and firms. So households demand what? Consumption expenditure. So the consumption expenditure of the households. And do you all remember? I had taught you in national income. What is the expenditure of firms called? Households expenditure is consumption expenditure largely. Household expenditure is consumption expenditure largely. But what is expenditure of firms called? Do you remember that? What is the expenditure by firms called? Do you remember that, everyone? Yes, we do remember. It's investment expenditure. Correct. Correctly told. Investment expenditure. So friends, I will write down for you. It is what the firms are doing. Friends, it is a two-sector economy. It is a two-sector economy, and hence we are considering only this two expenditure. And all this is Keynesian economics going on. Whatever we are studying here is Keynesian economics that is going on. Okay. So aggregate demand includes consumption expenditure and investment expenditure. While on the other hand, in aggregate supply, friends, you have, see, aggregate supply. Now try to understand something. When you demand, there is expenditure. So you could say aggregate demand is nothing but aggregate expenditure. You could say aggregate demand is nothing but aggregate expenditure. But now you tell me one thing, guys. When you supply, hello everyone. When you supply, what happens? Sir, the question is, when you supply, what happens? Sir, when you supply, what happens? Friends, when you supply, there is income. 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 And that's why, dear students, aggregate supply is nothing but national income. Because जब आप supply करते हो, for example, you go to a stationery shop and you ask for anything. For example, a pen. Just for example, a pen. You ask for a pen. Now, dear students, you have created a demand of pen. which has resulted in a supply of pen. Now, because of demand, you will have to spend some money. And because that guy on the other side who is selling you the pen is supplying, for them income is generated. So aggregate supply is national income. Now, friends, I have a question to ask each one of you. What do we do with our income? We do two things. I have given you the hint. What do we do with our income? We do two things. I have given you the hint. Tell me what two things. Right. So friends, when we talk about demand, we are in a two-sector world. In a two-sector world, there are how many types of people? Two. Households and the firms. There is no government. Households and the firms. You will assume there is no government, no foreign sector. Okay. Now pay attention. In aggregate demand, if there is consumption expenditure, then you have households. If you have investment expenditure, then there is firms. Right? Now, friends, in AS, aggregate supply, you have national income. What do we do with our income? Very good. KS Anag is telling sir we spend, and one is saying Nishi is telling we save. Very good, Karthik. Divya, correct answer. Joy, correct answer. Consumption and savings. Very good, dear students. So my dear students, you are correct. So with our income, we do two things. Either we spend it on some consumption kind of thing, or we do some kind of, absolutely correct, we do some kind of savings. So there is consumption on one end and savings on the other. So there is consumption on one end and savings on the other. So there is consumption on one end and savings on the other. Yes or no, friends? Yes, sir. So it is written as C and this is written as S. Consumption expenditure is written as C and investment expenditure is written as I. Is this clear? Come on, everybody. Right, sir. Right, sir. Right, sir. Right, sir. So friends, first of all, I think you should note this down and then I'll tell you the next thing. First, you note this down. And once noted down, let me know, okay? Done, sir. So friends, when we are studying this Keynesian economics, it is named after, you could say, one of the founding fathers of macroeconomics, and the name is J.M. Keynes, John Maynard Keynes. John Maynard Keynes. That is why we call it Keynesian economics, by the way. John Maynard Keynes. J.M. Keynes, John Maynard Keynes. All right. Noted. Okay, people have noted it down. Very, very good. Now, friends, let me tell you the equilibrium condition. Now, let me tell you the equilibrium condition. The equilibrium condition in a two-sector economy, friends, equilibrium condition, friends, equilibrium condition in what sector? Friends, which sector are we studying? We are studying two sector, mind you. Don't tell me 3 or 4. We are studying two sector, mind you. Very good. So, friends, in equilibrium condition, if we talked about that, in a two sector economy, I will write down here, equilibrium condition in a, two sector economy, equilibrium condition, if we write down in a two sector economy, then it includes, in a two sector, mind you, I am telling you again, we are talking about two sector economy. Then, dear students, the condition is for equilibrium to be arrived, aggregate demand should be equal to aggregate supply. This is one approach of looking at things. This is one approach of looking at things. Sir, what would the other approach be? Dear students, if you look carefully, aggregate demand is consumption expenditure plus investment expenditure, okay? And aggregate supply is consumption plus savings. So you see, consumption you are having on both ends, here also or you are here also. So you remove this. Therefore, it brings us to the investment savings identity or savings investment identity. So there are two equilibrium conditions, either this or this. Either this, that is AD equals to AS, or investment is equals to savings. Whatever you prefer, you can write down in exam, but this you got to remember. First of all, Come on, everybody. Note it down, guys. Come on. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Great. 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 So now, dear students, so far so good. Come on, everybody. So far so good. Come on, everybody. This is the equilibrium condition which I have just stated you. Yes. And friends, yes, I will have to maintain this speed. You know why? Not because I don't want to teach slow, but because just the curriculum and the time plan. So I need to respect that. Okay. So we got to complete it. And that's why such a speed. Okay. So एग्रीगेट डिमांड एग्रीगेट सप्लाई के बराबर है. एग्रीगेट डिमांड का मतलब है टोटल डिमांड इन अ टू सेक्टर इकोनॉमी. वो दो चीजों को मिलाकर बना है कंजम्पशन एक्सपेंडिचर और इन्वेस्टमेंट. क्योंकि जो हाउस होल्ड है, मेरे आपके जैसे लोग, हम लोग कंजम्पशन पे खर्चा करते हैं. इन्वेस्टमेंट, अब कोई बिजनेस है तो वो भी खर्चा करता है, बट उसके एक्सपेंडिचर को इन्वेस्टमेंट बोलते हैं. तो एडी के साइड में सी और आई आ गया, क्योंकि टू सेक्टर वर्ल्ड चल रहा है. और एग्रीगेट सप्लाई यानी नेशनल इनकम. हम लोग अपने इनकम का क्या करते हैं? खर्चा. तो वो हो गया कंजम्पशन, और कुछ बचा लेते हैं तो वो हो गया सेविंग्स. इक्विलिब्रियम के लिए एडीएएस के बराबर होना चाहिए या इन्वेस्टमेंट सेविंग्स के बराबर होना चाहिए. कुल मिला के हिंदी में बात इतना ही है. Is this clear, everyone? Yes, sir, it's clear. Very good, very good, very good. Fantastic. Fantastic. So now, friends, let's proceed. So now, friends, let's proceed. What are we doing next? Friends, please proceed. Please see, and let's discuss what we are doing next. Okay? Yes, sir, please tell us. Yes, sir, please tell us. I have told you all that AD is equal to AS, and that C plus I equals to C plus S, of course. So investment equals to savings also. That is not. Now, what do I tell you? Friends, now what do I tell you? Friends, now the thing is, it is AS, investment is savings. Now we will talk about consumption expenditure. Now we will talk about consumption expenditure. You all forgot that AD is comprising of two things, na? C plus I. So now let me tell you, this consumption expenditure is again divided into two parts. This consumption expenditure is again divided into two parts. Number one is autonomous consumption. Number one is autonomous consumption. Number one is autonomous consumption. And number two is you see induced consumption. So number one, what you are having is autonomous consumption. And number two, what you are having is induced consumption. Okay, sir. So what, sir? Pay attention now. On the one side you have autonomous consumption, on the other side you have induced consumption. On one side you have autonomous, and on the other you have induced consumption. Sir, what is autonomous consumption? Friends, autonomous consumption is a consumption expenditure. Please pay attention. Autonomous consumption is a consumption expenditure. Autonomous consumption is a consumption expenditure. I repeat, autonomous consumption is a consumption expenditure which does not depend on income level. Autonomous consumption is a consumption expenditure that does not depend on income level. Autonomous consumption is a consumption expenditure that does not depend on income level. Consumption expenditure that does not depend on income level. So I'll write that down for you. Consumption expenditure that doesn't depend on consumption expenditure that doesn't depend on level of income. I'll give you an example. Do you want an example? Yes, sir, we want an example. I'll give you an example. Let me ask you something. Suppose, for example, you are not making any money. Since you all are students, for example, I'm not talking about general crowd, but suppose most of you are not making money. Okay. But does that mean that you are not spending money on consumption? Just tell me yes or no. No, sir, we are spending. So my next question is how you are spending? Sir, we are taking money from our parents. Exactly. Now, suppose somebody who doesn't have parents, suppose somebody who doesn't have parents and also don't have money, are they not spending money? Sir, they are spending money. How? Maybe they are taking loan, or whatever savings they had initially, they are utilizing this savings. But still, they are spending money because individuals need to spend on consumption in order to survive. That is autonomous consumption, the expenditure that does not depend on the level of income. It means even if somebody has zero income, it will still be incurred because it is necessary for survival. Even if someone, even if someone is not making money, even if someone is not making money, even if someone is not making money, it will still be incurred. Even if somebody is making money, it will still be incurred. Understood or not understood? Friends, how many of you have understood autonomous consumption? By the way, in economics, when we write autonomous consumption, we represent it with a small a. We represent it with a small a. Is this clear, friends? Very good. Now, the second portion, that is induced consumption. Friends, it is that portion of consumption, or I should better say, it is that portion of consumption expenditure. It is that portion of consumption expenditure. I repeat my statement. It is that portion of consumption expenditure. It is that portion of consumption expenditure. I repeat once again. It is that portion of consumption expenditure that depends on income. It is that portion of consumption expenditure that depends on income level. That certainly depends on income level. That certainly depends on income level. Now I'll give you an example, okay? That depends on income level. So friends, suppose I'm wearing a shirt, okay? But suppose if my income rises, I'll buy more shirts. Yes or no? So the number of shirts I purchase is dependent on the income I generate. That is induced consumption. Is that clear, everybody? Because it depends on, why is the word induced used? Because it depends on the income level. Understood, sir. So friends, induced consumption is represented by by. Sir, what is b, what is y? Good question. I will answer that. Don't worry about that. But good question for the timing. So friends, the consumption equation is written as a very important thing. Total consumption is equals to A, that is autonomous consumption, plus BY, that is induced consumption. Whereas Y represents the level of income. Whereas Y represents the level of national income or the level of income in general. Sir, what is B? B you haven't taught us. Yes, I have not taught you. I will do it immediately once you all confirm about B. Okay. So, sir, we have understood that aggregate demand is composed in a two-sector economy of consumption expenditure and investment expenditure, of consumption expenditure and investment expenditure, while consumption expenditure includes A and BY. A is autonomous consumption and BY is induced consumption. A is autonomous consumption and BY is induced consumption. BY is, dear students, it's induced consumption. Okay, great. Friends, I am assuming you all have noted this down. If not, I'll wait for 2 minutes for you to take screenshot or to note it down. Yes, Karthik, you can say that autonomous consumption is basic necessity. Correct. Anand, correct. Abhishek, correct. Correct, Hinal, correct. Very good. Right, sir. Very good. People have noted it down. They have confirmed it to me. Right. So एग्रीगेट डिमांड इज कंजम्पशन प्लस इन्वेस्टमेंट. अब कंजम्पशन का दो हिस्सा होता है. एक होता है ऑटोनॉमस कंजम्पशन. ये वो खर्चा होता है जो आपके इनकम पर निर्भर नहीं है. जैसे आपका खाना, आपका इनकम कुछ नहीं भी हो तब भी तो आप पेट भरने के लिए कुछ खर्च करोगे ना. वो होता है कंजम्पशन एक्सपेंडिचर या ऑटोनॉमस कंजम्पशन. बट जैसे कपड़े खरीदना, बाहर घूमने जाना, ये इंड्यूस्ड कंजम्पशन है. क्यों? क्योंकि जैसे जैसे आपका इनकम बढ़ेगा वैसे वैसे ये खर्चे भी बढ़ेंगे. तो वो खर्चा जो आपके इनकम पर निर्भर है उसे इंड्यूस्ड कहते हैं. पर वो खर्चा जो आपके इनकम पर निर्भर नहीं है उसे ऑटोनॉमस कहते हैं. उम्मीद है बात पूरी समझ में आ गई है आप लोगों को. राइट सर. ग्रेट 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 ग्रेट. सर व्हाट एल्स डू वी हैव? सर व्हाट एल्स डू वी हैव? लेट्स टॉक अबाउट दैट नाउ. Let's talk about that now. Let's talk about that now. Friends, investment. Just like I told about consumption, na, friends, there is something called investment expenditure. I, investment expenditure. Yes, in reality, investment expenditure is also of two types, autonomous and induced. But investment expenditure is assumed. Why? Because it is assumed in Keynesian economics. There is no why for it. Assumed to be constant. Investment expenditure is assumed to be constant. Assumed to be constant means what? Means whatever the income level be, there will be no change in investment. So we are concerned only with fixed investment, that is constant or fixed. So here we are only dealing with autonomous investment, that is not dealing with induced investment. Sir, in real life, do we have induced investment? The answer is yes. But in this Keynesian world, do we need to talk about that? The answer is no. We only talk about constant investment or fixed investment or autonomous investment. That's it. Yes, definitely I'll come to what B means. B का मतलब पे अभी अपने आएंगे. Don't you worry about that. I am that in mind. Friends, now we talk about four different concepts. Are we ready? Friends, I will write it. So I'm writing out the spellings first. APC, average propensity. Average propensity to consume. Average propensity to consume. Friends, when I say propensity, it means tendency. When I say propensity, it means tendency to do or not do something. When I say propensity, it means tendency. Okay? APS is average propensity to save. APC is average propensity to consume. APS is average propensity to save. Okay, great, sir. MPC is marginal propensity to consume. And guess what? MPS is marginal propensity to save. So friends, you have four of this here. Number one is APC, average propensity to consume. APS, average propensity to save. MPC, marginal propensity to consume. MPS, marginal propensity to save. Is that clear, everyone? Right, sir, that's clear. Now moving on. Sir, now let's talk about each one of them so that you are able to understand things in a better way. Average propensity to consume is total consumption by total income. Sir, we did not understand. Example, suppose I am making an income of 1,000 rupees, and out of the 1,000 rupees, I am spending rupees 600. So my APC would be 600 out of 1,000, that is 0.6. That is, for every 1 rupee I earn, I spend 60% of it, that is 0.6 of it, or 60 paisa. For every 1 rupee I spend, that is APC. Friends, what is APS? APS is nothing but savings divided by income. Now friends, continuing the above example, if my income is 1,000 and out of that income I am spending 600, then automatically I am saving 400. Then automatically I am saving 400. Sir, we do agree? Right. Okay, very good, Om. Congratulations. But now pay attention here. When we talk about average propensity to save, savings is 400. Everybody's savings is 400. So friends, if savings is 400, then 400 by 1,000 becomes 0.4. That is APS. That out of every 1 rupee I make, 40% I save. Out of every 1,000 rupees I make, 40% I save. So that is everybody APS. Okay. And you know what? APC plus APS, that is 0.6 plus 0.4 is equal to 1. APC plus APS, that is 0.6 plus 0.4 is equals to 1. Is that clear, everybody? Come on here. Come on, everyone. Come on here. Very good. So you have understood this, that APC plus APS is 1. Sir, how do we derive this? The reason is, or the process is very simple. Consumption plus savings is income. So divide both sides by income. Dividing both sides by income, that is Y. Y means income. So you get C by Y plus S by Y equals to Y by Y. Now C by Y is APC, S by Y is APS, and Y by Y is 1. Boom, gone. Right, sir? Right, sir. Very good. Now, sir, what is MPC and what is MPS? Marginal propensity to consume and marginal propensity to save. Please pay attention, friends. MPC is change in consumption by change in income. Sir, this delta triangle means what? Means change. What does it mean, sir? It means every time my income increases by 100 rupees, how much of that extra 100 I spend? Got it? सर हिंदी में बोलिए. एपीसी का मतलब होता है कि अगर मैं टोटल में 100 रुपए कमाता हूं तो कितना खर्च करता हूं. एपीएस का मतलब होता है अगर मैं टोटल में 100 रुपए कमाता हूं तो मैं कितना बचा लेता हूं. बट एमपीसी का मतलब होता है कि अगर मेरी कमाई 100 रुपए से बढ़ती है, ध्यान से सुनो, लैंग्वेज सुनो, अगर मेरी इनकम, मेरी कमाई 100 रुपए से बढ़ती है तो वो जो बढ़ा हुआ 100 रुपया है, क्या बोला मैं? बढ़ा हुआ, वो जो एक्स्ट्रा 100 मैं कमाया, उस एक्स्ट्रा 100 का मैं कितना हिस्सा खर्चा करता हूं. जब हम लोग एपीसी का बात करते हैं तो हम लोग टोटल 100 कमा रहे हैं, उसका कितना खर्चा कर रहे हैं, इस बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. बट एमपीसी में हम लोग बोल रहे हैं जो वो एक्स्ट्रा 100 हमने कमाया ना, जो वो एक्स्ट्रा 100 हमने कमाया ना, उसका क्या हमने खर्च किया, ये है. Very good, sir. Friends, very good. Friends, very good. Now moving on. So now let me give you an example. Okay. Friends, when I was making an income of 1,000, for example, I was spending, let's say 600 rupees. For example, now my income has increased to 2,000 rupees and my spendings have gone to, let's say around 900 rupees. For example. So friends, you can see the change in income is by how much? By 1,000, 2,000 minus 1,000. That is the change in income. And my change in consumption is by 300. 900 minus 600. Exactly my point. This is 0.3. So dear students, out of every extra 1 rupee that I am making, out of every extra 1 rupee that I am making, out of every extra 1 rupee that I am making, I am spending 30%. That is 0.3 of it. That is MPC. And guess what? You all were asking, sir, B kya hota hai? What is B? Yes. So now I can gladly say B is nothing but MPC. B is nothing but MPC. Is that clear, friends? I'm waiting for your confirmation. Is that clear, everyone? Yes, sir, it's clear. Now, dear students, let me move forward with the discussion. Let me move forward with the discussion. Sir, shall we? Yes, sir. Now, friends, what is MPS? Same example, dear students. If I am making income of 1,000, I am consuming 600, then how much I am saving? Sir, you are saving 400. Great. If I am making an income of 2,000, I am spending 900, then dear students, what am I saving? I am saving, sir, 1,100. Or you could say whatever amount. I'll tell you, for example, if my income is 1,000, suppose I am saving 500. But if my income rises to 2,000, suppose I am saving 1,100. Okay. Here, let's say I was saving 400. So dear students, MPS is what? My savings has increased by how much? By 700. And my income has increased by how much? By 1,000. So dear students, MPS is 0.7. Friends, is this clear? Yes, sir, it's clear. Friends, is this clear? Yes, sir, it's clear. So dear students, you have two things. APC plus APS is 1 and MPC plus MPS equals to 1. सर हिंदी में एमपीएस बताइए. एमपीएस का अर्थ है कि यदि मेरा इनकम 100 रुपए से बचता है, बढ़ता है, तो वो बढ़े हुए 100 रुपए का मैं कितना बचा लेता हूं, वो बढ़े हुए 100 रुपए का मैं कितना एक्स्ट्रा बचा लेता हूं, उसे अपन एमपीएस कहते हैं. उम्मीद है क्लियर है आप सबको. फ्रेंड्स, इज दैट क्लियर? बिकॉज this topic is very sensitive. I'm trying to go at this moment a little slow so that I can pick up later on. All right, great. So very good, very good, very good. Sir, we have understood so far, so good. Now, friends, remember one thing. Now friends, remember one thing, that B, that is MPC, lies between 0 and 1. Everybody write down in the chat. MPC lies between 0 and 1. Everybody write it down in the chat box. MPC lies between 0 and 1. MPC as well as MPS lies between 0 and 1. Lies between 0 and 1. First you remember this. Sir, why? We will talk that later on. But first you remember this. MPC lies between 0 and 1, and MPC is represented by a B. By a B. If it is clear, then I will proceed. First you write down in the chat. Only then will I move forward. Correct. Very good. So friends, if this much is clear, then I can move forward, I guess. All right, let's move forward then. Remember friends, aggregate supply is a 45-degree line. Aggregate supply is a 45-degree line. So I'll draw this graph and you will see. So friends, here, this is your income. Okay. This graph shows your income. This graph shows your consumption, savings, and aggregate supply. That is on y-axis. Okay. This is x-axis. So aggregate supply is a 45-degree line. You know why? Because this is also income. This is also income. So income is plotted against income. So the distance this will be equal to distance this. Distance this will be equal to distance this. Distance this will be equal to distance this. So, and you know this is 90-degree. So each side will be 45-degree. Yes. So remember, you don't have to know much because it's not a lengthy answer type exam that you have. So remember, aggregate supply is a 45-degree line. Everybody write down in the chat, aggregate supply is a 45-degree line. Aggregate supply is a 45-degree line. Please write it down in the chat, everybody. Come on. Right, sir. So now everyone, please pay attention. If this is clear, now everybody, another thing I got to tell you is, you know where this consumption function start from? From here. This is the y-axis. This is the consumption function. This is x-axis. So you see, this represents autonomous consumption. This represents autonomous consumption. That is A. Understood? So consumption function starts from y-axis. Everyone, consumption function starts from y-axis. Why is that, sir? Because if you started from here, this is a 0, 0 origin. So if origin is 0, 0, it means that at 0 income, you will have 0 consumption. But do you have 0 consumption at 0 income? No, because even if you have 0 income, some consumption will take place. And hence the consumption curve starts from y-axis and not from the origin, mind you. Got it? Yes, sir, we did get it. And just below it, I'll draw savings curve just below this. So if you see, initially what happens, dear students, is savings is negative. Why? You see, I'll draw a aggregate supply curve also here. See, I've drawn an aggregate supply curve. The aggregate supply means nothing but income. So where is income equal to consumption at this point? Income equals to consumption. At this point, income is equals to consumption. Means the amount you are earning is the amount you are spending. But before that, you see, here consumption is greater than income. and here income is greater than consumption. So when consumption is greater than income, automatically, see at this point savings will be zero. So when we draw the savings curve, we draw it like this. Why? Because this point implies, this is savings curve by the way, okay? Because when consumption is greater than income, then savings is negative. Savings is negative. That is called dis savings. Means you are using your savings to spend your consumption needs. At this point, it is equal. That is income equals to consumption. And here you have positive savings or simply savings. Did you understand it, dear students? Yes or no? Come on, everyone. Right. Very, very good. Right. Very, very good. So now, dear students, let's move onwards. Let's move onwards. Let's move onwards and let's see what else is going on. Let's see what else is going on. Okay. Let's move on. Okay. Sir, one more time, please. Okay. One more time. I will explain. No problem. But you will have to catch. See, what happens is consumption curve starts from here. Why? Because as income increases, consumption rises. But why does it start from y-axis? Consumption curve starts from y-axis because even if you are not making any money, still you will spend. Agreed? And aggregate supply, which is income level, is a 45-degree line. I am sure you remember this, and this is consumption curve. This much is it clear? You tell me this. At this point, you see income aggregate supply is equals to consumption. This much did you understand? Yes or no? इतना समझ में आया क्या? इधर पे इनकम और कंजम्पशन एक बराबर हो गया. इसके पहले क्या हो रहा था? पहले कंजम्पशन इनकम से ज्यादा था और बाद में इनकम कंजम्पशन से ज्यादा है. हाँ या ना बताइए. तो अब मैं आपसे सेविंग्स की बात कर रहा हूं. तो शुरुआती तौर पर आप लोग देखिए, जब कंजम्पशन इनकम से ज्यादा रहा होगा तब इंसान खर्चा कैसे किया होगा? तब इंसान खर्चा किया होगा अपना सेविंग्स को यूज करके. अपना सेविंग्स को यूज करके. इसको बोलते हैं डिस सेविंग्स. जहां कंजम्पशन और इनकम एक बराबर हो गया, वहां सेविंग्स जीरो हो गया, और इसके बियॉन्ड जो आपका सेविंग्स है वो पॉजिटिव हो गया. ये याद रखिएगा. और याद रखिए, consumption starts from y-axis. Consumption starts from y-axis. This is autonomous consumption. Consumption starts from y-axis. Why? Because even if nothing is earned, money still spent on consumption. आप कुछ पैसा नहीं कमाएंगे तब भी कंजम्पशन तो होगा. अगर आप कंजम्पशन को यहां से ओरिजिन से स्टार्ट करेंगे, इसका मतलब आप बोल रहे हैं कि इनकम जीरो है तो कंजम्पशन जीरो है, जो कि गलत है. इनकम जीरो है तो भी कंजम्पशन कुछ ना कुछ तो होता ही है. तो उम्मीद है क्लियर हो गया होगा. ये बातें आप लोगों को थोड़ी जल्दी पकड़नी पड़ेंगी. एक और बात याद रखिएगा. एक और बात याद रखिएगा. एज इनकम राइजेस, प्लीज रिमेंबर दिस एवरीवन, एज इनकम राइजेस, जैसे जैसे इनकम बढ़ेगा, एज इनकम राइजेस एपीसी फॉल्स, वैसे वैसे एपीसी घटेगा घटेगा घटेगा. ऑल्सो एज इनकम राइजेस एपीएस rises. As income rises, APS rises. As income rises, APC falls. As income rises, APC falls. उम्मीद है क्लियर है. याद रखिएगा आप लोग. मैं यहां लिख देता हूं. इनकम बढ़ता है, एपीसी घटता है. इनकम बढ़ता है, एपीएस बढ़ता है. तो कह सकते हैं कि इनकम और एपीसी के बीच में इनवर्स रिलेशन है. इनकम एंड एपीसी हैज इनवर्स रिलेशन. Income and APC has inverse relation, and income and APS has direct relation. Please note this down. Also, two more things, that MPC lies between 0 and 1, as well as MPS lies between 0 and 1. To sum it up, APC plus APS is 1 and MPC plus MPS is 1. Because I am 100% sure that ICAI will ask something from this portion. Only this much that is displayed on your screen right now. Very, 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 very important. Please note this all down right now. Don't wait for after class party. Do it immediately. Sir, we have been able to collect and collate everything so far. We have been able to collect and collate everything so far. Very good. Very, very, very good. Wow. So, sir, shall we proceed, sir? Sir, we should proceed. Definitely. We should definitely proceed. Right, sir. Is this clear, everybody? Yes, sir, that is clear. Great. So, friends, that was almost about the two sector world. That was almost about the two sector world. Now, what else, sir? What else do we have, sir? What else do we have, sir? Of course, we have the investment multiplier, etc. But as I told, investment multiplier is reserved for the next class. So don't ask me question of investment multiplier. Okay, that will be wrong from your side. Just the equilibrium diagram I will like to show you. Please have a look here. Equilibrium diagram I will like to show you. Please have a look here. Equilibrium diagram. Okay. In a two sector world. In a two sector world. This is aggregate supply. Friends, this is aggregate supply. Friends, this is investment. As I told you, we are assuming investment to be constant. Okay. And this is somehow the aggregate demand. Okay. It is the same as consumption curve. Now AD is equals to AS at this point of time, right? This is x-axis, this is y-axis. So this point is the equilibrium point, and this level of income is the equilibrium level of income. Also, one more thing. Let me draw the consumption curve also. This is the consumption curve. This is the consumption curve. Great, sir. Now, sir, what else? If I talk about savings investment approach, didn't I tell you that there are two approaches, the savings investment and the ADAS approach? So again, this is the investment line. And if you have heard me correctly, savings is also negative, because when your income is zero, जब आपका income zero रहता है, तो savings negative होता है, क्योंकि खर्चा तो तब भी आप कर रहे होते हो. So friends, if I drag this down here, at this point, savings should be meeting the investment. At this point, the savings should be meeting the investment. So this is Y0. And beyond this, everyone, beyond this, what is happening is here, see here, at this moment, where here, consumption is becoming equal to income. How, sir? Because see, consumption line is meeting the aggregate supply, which is the income line. So at this moment, savings is zero. So at this moment, savings will touch this axis. And then what would happen? Then it would, automatically surpass. So I'll draw it like this. It would be somewhat like this. Exactly. It would be somewhat like this. It would somewhat be like this. Understood, everyone? So this is what is going on, everybody. This is what is going on, everybody. This is the equilibrium point. So this can be called an equilibrium, or this can be called an equilibrium, because at this point you can say AD is equals to AS, and at this point savings is equals to investment. So this is the equilibrium diagram. And I have taught you this. Nobody is going to ask you the diagram in exam, but if they are asking you to label, I think I have helped you sufficiently. Done. Also, you can write it down if you forget that when income, that is aggregate supply, is equals to consumption, then savings is equals to 0, and hence it is touching this axis. For this you need to have knowledge of maths. This you must have been taught in the maths class. Okay, great. Friends, have you noted this much down? So that I can tell you the last thing before I move on to the three sector discussion. Come on, everybody. Okay, great. सो दोस्तों, मैंने आपको इक्विलिब्रियम का दो केसेस दिखा दिया। एक जहां पे एग्रीगेट डिमांड एग्रीगेट सप्लाई के इक्वल हो रहा है, या सेविंग्स इन्वेस्टमेंट के इक्वल हो रहा है। उम्मीद है इतनी बात क्लियर है। और याद रखिएगा, जब इनकम और कंजम्पशन एक बराबर होता है तब सेविंग्स जीरो होता है। अरे आप ही सोचिए ना, आप 100 रुपए कमाए और आपने 100 रुपए खर्च कर दिए, तो आपका सेविंग्स क्या हुआ? आप ही बताइए मुझे। सर तब तो सेविंग्स कुछ नहीं हुआ। एग्जैक्टली मैं यही तो कह रहा हूं कि सेविंग्स कुछ नहीं हुआ, यानी सेविंग्स जीरो है। यही तो मैं कह रहा हूं आपको। ग्रेट, great, 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 great. Moving on, sir. Moving on, sir. Now, friends, we talk about one more thing. Please remember this. Please remember this. This is a circular flow diagram. Okay. This is a circular flow diagram of two sector. Circular flow diagram of two sector. Of what sector? Of two sector. Okay. Now, please see here. Friends, you see there are households this side. Okay. There are firms, that is business sector this side. There are banks in between. Banks or any financial institution for that matter. Now what happens is, households provide firms with what? With factor services. Means land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. It is the people in the households that are serving the firms. Yes or no? So this is called real flow. Factor services. Sir, what is real flow? Okay, we'll come to that later on. But first of all, understand this is factor services. Factor services is a real flow. What is real flow? Forget it. Factor services includes land, labor, capital, entrepreneur. Because you will agree, right? Whoever is doing business is doing it out of land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, and all of them are taking it from somebody. Like land, they are taking from someone. Labor, they are taking from someone. Capital, they are taking from someone. Entrepreneur is also an individual coming from the household sector. Sir, we do agree. Sir, we do agree that thing. Now you will tell me, when the households provide firms with factor services, what do the firms pay the households in return? Yes, you are correct. Factor payment like rent, salary, wages. Okay. So there it is, money flow. Money is flowing here. Factor payments. Money is flowing here. What else there is, sir? What else there is, sir? Okay, I'll talk about it now. Now, further talking, if we talk further, tell me, tell us, sir. So you see, everybody, factor services, factor payment you have done. Now, everyone, firms sell households goods and services. This pen that I am using, the pen, pencil you are using is from some firm. Yes. The copies that you are writing in is from some firm. So they are providing goods and services. In return, the households pay for goods and services. In return, the households pay for goods and services. So there is payment for goods and services. So my dear students, you will see in the bottom two, that is the dotted diagram, money is flowing. Hence it is called money flow. But whenever goods and services are flowing, that is called real flow. So the above two flows are real flows and the below two flows are called the money flows. I am sure you have understood this. I am sure you have understood this. Yes or no, everyone? Great. Great. Sir, we have understood. Sir, we have understood. Let's move on, sir. Let's move on, sir. Let's move on, sir. Great, everybody. Now, everyone, let's talk about the further things. Let's talk about the further things. Let's go about it. Households, households save some money and they put it in their banks. Yes or no? Yes, sir. And banks grant loan to firms for productive investment into the economy. Yes or no? So, my dear friends, in the above situation that I have demonstrated, savings are called leakages. Sir, why? Why? Because see, money was flowing in a circular fashion. When you save some money out of this circular flow, you are withdrawing money. That is why it is called leakage. Leakage is anything that withdraws money from the flow, that withdraws money from the circular flow. But when banks give it to the firms in the form of loans, banks are again pushing money into the economy. So whenever money is coming into the economy, that is injection. But whenever in the form of savings or taxes, whenever money is going outside the economy, that is leakages. That is leakages. Okay. So loans is an injection into the economy. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I hope it's crystal clear. Friends, I hope it's crystal clear. Yes or no? Come on, everyone. Great. So, dear students, if you have copied it down, then as I will give you your well deserved 5 minute break. I will be in the class only. I will be in the class only. I will not be taking any break. I'll be talking to you people about whatever queries you have. But for those who want to drink water or maybe go to the restroom, they can do it. You have 5 minutes. Rest, you can ask your questions. इंजेक्शन इंजेक्शन मीन्स एनीथिंग दैट एड्स मनी टू द इकोनॉमी आप देखिए ना बैंक जब फर्म्स को लोन दे रहा है फर्म्स उसको इन्वेस्ट करेंगे when banks are granting loans to the firms are going to invest it in the economy, so basically into the money flow in the economy, the money is increasing. That's why injection. Yes, injection and leakages are generally equal. That's perfect observation, Karthik. Abhishek, I hope I have answered the question. Fantastic. Okay, circular diagram. So households are providing factor services to the firms. Firms are giving factor payments to the household. Factor services means labor, land, all this households are giving the firm. In return, firms are giving them some payment. Firms are selling goods and services to the households. In return, households are making payment to the firms. Okay, this is the circular flow. APC is total consumption by total income. APS is total savings by total income. That's it. Yes, leakage is like this. I gave you an example. Na? Savings is leakage. When households are saving money, they are taking away money from the circular flow. Had the household spent all the money, then the money would have been in economy. But when you are saving some money, you are taking the money away from the economy. That is a leakage. Taxes taken by the government from us is like a leakage. Transfer payment means payment for which no effort is done. Suppose somebody is getting gift. Suppose somebody is getting donation. It is for free. They are not doing anything in return. That is transfer payment. So friends, now we are going to speak about the three sector model. Yes, there are numericals. Yes, there are numericals from this topic. But as I had told, for numericals, I have kept the second class. So don't worry. Sir, will you do numericals with us? 100% yes. 100, not 90. 100% yes. But for that, you have to have patience, because there is a logic to the flow of things. You see, I have written therefore that investment multiplier plus numericals we are going to do later on. So yes, there are numericals, but all of them will be done in the second class itself. Yes, Abhishek, it can be. Abhishek is asking, can APC be equals to 1? Yes, Abhishek, see, APC, my dear student, is C by Y. So suppose I am earning 100 rupees and I am spending 100 rupees. So yes, why can't APC be 1? When consumption and income are equal, APC is 1. So yes, APC can be 1. No doubt about that. But so much is not required. Whatever I have told, if you think of this, that's enough. Sir, what is factor payments? Factor payments, my dear student, means rent paid. Factor payments means, you pay somebody rent. If the firms are taking land from the households, they will have to give rent. If they are hiring labor, they will have to give salaries. All this factor payments, all these are factor payments. This you should have done in microeconomics class. What are factor payments? You should have done in microeconomics class. Right. So now moving on, the time is up now. So I'll move on now, guys, to my topic, which is three sector model. Before I move on, just remember, in a two sector model or any model for that matter, whenever aggregate demand is greater than aggregate supply, it will result in a situation of inflation in the economy. So there will be inflationary gap that you will see. Whenever demand is greater than supply, whenever demand is greater than supply. But dear students, whenever supply is greater than demand, that time you will have deflationary gap in the economy. Because we are preparing for MCQs, we got to know all these keywords now. Before I move to the three sector model, please remember this. Product market is where products are being sold. Goods and services. I told na, this goods and services, that is product market. Okay, let's go now. Let's go now. Let's go now. Come on. So now we talk about three sector model. Now, dear students, when we talk about three sector models, who do we have here? Friends, here you have households, you have firms, you have government. You have households, you have firms, you have government. You have households, you have firms, you have government. You have households, you have firms, you have government. Okay, so there is no foreign sector. Economy still closed. Economy still closed means foreign sector, foreign investment, foreign businesses still not allowed. Import export still not going on. Now, dear students, here also we come back to the model, but here aggregate demand will be equal to three things. Here aggregate demand will be equal to three things. What is it, sir? Aggregate demand will be equal to three things. Sir, what are the three things? Friends, the three things here are consumption expenditure, investment expenditure, and government expenditure. I'll write down, don't worry. Consumption expenditure will include both autonomous and induced. Investment expenditure will be, yes, it is both autonomous and induced, but we will consider autonomous. That is fixed. Autonomous means fixed, at fixed level. Same with government expenditure or government purchases. G is government purchases or government expenditure. G is government purchases or government expenditure for that matter. Okay, now dear students, what is going on is everyone, now what is going on is everybody, it will also be assumed to be autonomous or fixed. For the time being, it will also be assumed to be autonomous or fixed. Why? It's just the model that has been told in our syllabus, so don't need to get into the why. Consumption will include both auto and induced, as we have already done. And investment and government purchases, we will consider constant for the time being. Now pay attention, everyone. Now, government imposes dash. Government imposes dash. Fill in the blank. On the general people or on the firms, government imposes what? Open economy is where foreign sector is also allowed. Open economy is where foreign sector is also allowed. Open economy is where foreign sector is also allowed. Open economy is where foreign sector is also allowed. Cool. Open economy is where foreign sector is also allowed. In case you asked. Okay, dear students, now let's go ahead. Government imposes taxes, correct? So now you will agree. Now you will agree one thing. Now you will agree one thing, that I will be able to spend or save only my disposable income. That is the income that I have remaining after I have paid my taxes. After I have paid my taxes. After I have paid my taxes. Yes or no, everybody? Yes or no, everybody? Yes, sir, we do agree. So we can say income here is equals to consumption plus savings plus taxes. T here stands for taxes. And Y is nothing but aggregate supply. So aggregate supply is C plus S plus T. So now if we equate, because you all know the format is AD should be equal to AS for equilibrium. AD should be equal to AS for equilibrium. AD should be equal to AS for equilibrium. Right? So dear students, AD is what? C plus I plus G. AS is what? C plus S plus T. If we deduct from both the sides C and C, therefore equilibrium condition comes investment plus government expenditure is equals to savings plus taxes. The two equilibrium conditions again, the number one and the number two. I am assuming all of you are copying it right away. Right away, everybody. Right away, everybody. Right away, everybody. I'm waiting. No issues because I know I've written a lot, so I can wait for you all to copy this much down. Okay, great. All right, great. Now, dear students, one more diagram that I would like to show you all, the equilibrium diagram, you could say. It's just for the sake of your clarity, huh? Because nobody is going to ask you in the foundation exam, at least this portion, huh? Now see, this is consumption expenditure. Got it, sir. You all know that consumption and now investment is just fixed. So there is a parallel line. So this is C plus I. This parallel line is equal to I. And again, some more gap. Why so, sir? It is because now G is also constant. So this gap is nothing but G, dear students. This aggregate supply, as I had told you already, is a 45-degree line. This represents Cij. This is y-axis. This is x-axis. It represents disposable income, etc. And you see now, this is C plus I plus G. It is the real AD. So this is the real income. This is the real income, or I would say the equilibrium level of income, Y star. And you know what was the initial level at 2 sector? This is under 3 sector. This is under 3 sector. Had it been 2 sector, you remember that AD was C plus I under 2 sector. So then it would have been an income. So if somebody asks you, what is the change in level of income because of 2 sector to 3 sector? This is the change in level of income from 2 sector to 3 sector. I am sure you have understood this. What is the equilibrium point? This one. Why? Because here AD is equals to AS. If this is clear, friends, then I will proceed. But graph is of utmost importance. Please note that down. Okay. Fantastic. Everyone done so far? Is this clear so far? Right. So now we can move. Let's see. Now we will understand in the 3 sector interrelationship. In the 3 sector, we will understand interrelationship. Meaning what, sir? You will understand what I am saying. Just pay attention. First, here we are discussing from household what is provided. From household what is provided. Here we are discussing from government what is provided. And here we are discussing from business. Yeah, from firms what is provided. To who? Number one, to government. Number one, to government. Now, friends, what does household provide to the government? Obviously, you know factor services because government also hires land, labor, capital. So provision of factor services. What does household give other than this to the government? Household gives taxes to the government. Household save money, savings, so that government can borrow. Household save money so that government can borrow the money from RBI or other banks. Yes, sir, it's clear. This is the household portion. This is the household portion. And now, Number two, this is what household is providing to the government. This is what household is providing to the government. But what else, sir? Now we are discussing what household is providing to the business. What household is providing to the business. Households provide to the business is, again, just like government hires factor services, business also hires factor services. Acha. Households also consume, like people like us, we consume goods and services na. So we pay them businesses for goods and services. So here we are discussing what goes from households to government, number one, to business, number two. So to business we pay payment of goods and services, and also we save money so that firms can borrow from banks. We save money in the banks so that firms can borrow from banks. Copy this much down at least. I am sure you have understood this. मैंने यहाँ ये समझाया कि हाउसहोल्ड हमारे जैसे लोगों की तरफ से सरकार के पास और बिजनेसेस के पास क्या जाता है, हाउसहोल्ड के पास देने को क्या है, जैसे मैं अभी सर्विस प्रोवाइड कर रहा हूं, तो नंबर वन सर्विसेज, नंबर टू मैं टैक्सेस देता हूं, और तीसरी बात मैं कुछ सेव करता हूं जिससे हाउसहोल्ड्स और फर्म्स बोरो कर सके बैंक से। तो ये हो गया ना। अच्छा, अब हम लोग पढ़ रहे हैं फ्रॉम गवर्नमेंट, कि अब गवर्नमेंट से क्या मिलता है किसको। नंबर वन, गवर्नमेंट से क्या मिलता है सर किसको, पहली बात हाउस होल्ड्स को, पहली बात हाउस होल्ड्स को। गवर्नमेंट को क्या मिलता है सर किसको, पहली बात हाउस होल्ड्स को। सर सबसे पहली बात हाउस गवर्नमेंट को मिलता है फैक्टर पेमेंट्स। सर सबसे पहले गवर्नमेंट को मिलता है फैक्टर पेमेंट्स। सो व्हाट डज द गवर्नमेंट गेट, द फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल फैक्टर पेमेंट्स। फैक्टर पेमेंट्स, because government has hired the households. Transfer payments, pension, the household sector works for government, so government gives them pension after retirement, yes or no, this is transfer payment, right sir? And number two, to the business, what does government do for the businesses? Sometimes government gives them subsidies, government gives the businesses subsidies, government purchases from business, huh? Sir, government purchases from business. Now, for example, if Indian government wants to construct a bridge, they may ask some iron rods from some private business, na, like Tata Iron and Steel. Government may ask for some private services from the private sector. Hence, what government gives to the business is also purchases from that business. That is payment for goods and services. That is better said. Government pays them payments for goods and services. Sir, we have understood this. But now, what does government and the household gain from the firms? So we are now discussing from the firms. फर्म से क्या आता है, अब हम लोग पढ़ रहे हैं फर्म से क्या आता है। नाउ व्हाट वी आर स्टडिंग इज एवरीबॉडी, व्हाट डू वी गेट फ्रॉम द फर्म्स, व्हाट डू वी गेट फ्रॉम द फर्म्स। सर वी आर रेडी, प्लीज गो अहेड शूट। सो एवरीवन, फ्रॉम द फर्म्स टू नंबर वन, who are we talking about, from the firms to number one is households. Now from the firms to the households, obviously number one, firms give factor payments to the households. The firm provides households with goods and services. The firms provide households with goods and services. And now, what does the firms do for the government? I mean, what does the firm give to the government? To the government. Number one, taxes, of course, taxes. And number B, or point B, government provides goods and services. Just like households buy goods and services from the firms, government also does that. So friends, note it down. I am 100% sure you have understood the three sector relationship. Come on, everybody, come on. Is this clear, everyone, so far? Is this clear so far? Great, everybody. Great. Fantastic then. Now, dear students, we talk about four sector model. Now we talk about four sector model. I'll just wait for 2 more minutes as some students may tell me to wait. Great. Very good. So people are telling they have done so far. Now, dear students, we will talk about four sector. But before we do that, let's see the checklist. What all we have been able to achieve. So see, we have done two sector. We have done three sector. Under the two sector and three sector, we have done the equilibrium. So the next box that I'm going to check is the four sector. So we are correctly moving as per our plan. I know the class is going a little faster, but that I have to do as I have already said. Okay. Four sector. Let's move on to the four sector, everyone. Let's move on to the four sector, everyone. Four sector. Now, dear students, what does four sector includes? The four sector includes number one, households, firms, government, and now the economy is open. Open means now the foreign sector is also allowed. So open economy. Now imports, exports will take place. Will take place. So households, you have the households. See, you have the firms, you have the governments. And now, what else do you have? Households, firms, government, and what else do you have? Friends, the next thing that you all have is, in addition to household, firms, government, you have the foreign sector. You have the foreign sector. That is X minus M. You have the foreign sector. Is that clear, everyone? Right, sir? That is clear to us. Yes, sir, that is clear to us. Now let's talk about what is going on in each of these sectors. Now let's talk about what is going on in each of these sectors. All right, let's talk about this now. You have households, you have firms, you have government, and you have the foreign sector. Great. So now, under households, if we talk about AS and AD again, aggregate supply was equal to national income. And you remember, it was equal to C plus S plus T. If you remember, you see it was C plus S plus T under three sector. It still continues to be so. It still continues to be so. So I will write here, same as three sector. Same as three sector model. Great. But what? But next what? Friends, the next is when we talk about aggregate demand. Friends, when we talk about aggregate demand, that is something that has changed now. You remember the expenditure method of calculating national income? There we had considered 4 different types of expenditures: consumption, investment, government, and net exports. Exactly. The net exports will now be added here. Absolutely, yes. C plus I plus G plus X minus M, where of course X represents exports, M represents imports, and X minus M represents net exports. Yes or no, everybody? Yes, sir, we do agree. And now, dear students, when you equate them, because on one side you have the aggregate supply, on the other side you have aggregate demand. You all know the funda: aggregate supply equals to aggregate demand. Now, aggregate supply is C plus S plus T. Aggregate demand is equals to C plus I plus G plus X minus M. Now, CC is gone. Now minus M is gone this side. So it becomes S plus T plus M. M is import, of course, would be equal to I plus G plus X. Yes or no, guys? Come on. Friends, so far is it clear? Come on, everyone. Okay. Okay. Now, friends, in this sector, injection, what did I say? Injection is whatever adds money. Injection is whatever adds money, whatever adds money, whatever adds money to the circular flow. Whatever adds money to the circular flow. Yes or no? And what is leakage? You all remember. If not, then write it down with me. Whatever takes away money from the circular flow. Leakage is whatever takes money from the circular flow. Whatever takes money from the circular flow. Now, dear students, what do I say? 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 Whatever adds money to the circular flow is injection. Now. Injection is whatever is adding money. Come on. Injection is whatever is adding money. Injection is whatever is adding money. Correct? So what I tell you all is, what I tell you all is, exports are, excuse me, exports are injection. You know why? Because when you're exporting, goods are going out of the economy. In that process, profit along with the cost of those goods is coming into the economy. So exports are like an injection into the economy. But if you import, then the payment that should have stayed within the economy because of domestic purchases is not doing so, because you are now buying it from outside. And since you are buying it from outside, the money that should have stayed in the economy is going outside. So you could say imports are leakages. Imports are leakages. You could say imports are leakages. Yes. Now, friends, if we talk about, the equilibrium diagram, it would somewhat be, the same thing as usual. This would be the aggregate supply line that would comprise of C plus S plus T for that matter. This would be the aggregate demand line. that would comprise of all the components C, I, G, X minus M. Everything would be included in this. So this is the equilibrium point. This is the 45-degree line. That is as usual. This is the equilibrium point as usual. Y-axis, X-axis, equilibrium point. So the 4-sector diagram also we have done. Friends, the 4-sector diagram also we have done. And also remember one more thing, that if you want to see it another way, using the second approach, then you could say something like that. See, S, T and M are coming from downside. S, T and M. Okay. S, T and M are coming from downside. And as I told that for the sake of our assumption, this is Y star or this is Y. This is equilibrium level. And here it is meeting again. What is this? As I had already told you about it, this would be I plus G plus X. This component you see, the right hand side component, and S plus T plus M would be the left side component. Why from below? Because you know this is disk savings. You know why? Because this is disk savings. I am sure you have understood what I am saying. Yes, Jairam. Yes, Jairam. No problem, dear. Very good, Jairam. Correct, Prayush. Anuj, correct. Great. Okay, great. So friends, this much I think all of you have understood literally. Yes or no, dear? Yes or no? Come on. Shall I ask some numerical questions to you all, if you all are ready for the same? Before that, let me give you two definitions. You know, yes, correct. Yes, Jairam, it's visible. Now, friends, the two differences between inflationary gap and deflationary gap. I mean, one difference only, but the definition format, you just write it down. Deflationary gap and the inflationary gap. So see, friends, if aggregate demand for an output is less than full employment level of output, if less than full employment level of output, then we say deficient demand. It causes recessionary or deflationary gap. Deficient demand causes recessionary or deflationary gap. Deficient demand causes recessionary or deflationary gap. सर हिंदी में बताइए दोस्तों, एक होता है वो डिमांड जिधर पे इकोनॉमी में जितने रिसोर्सेस अवेलेबल है सबको नौकरी मिल जाए, बट काफी बार क्या होता है कि जो एग्रीगेट डिमांड होता है उस एग्रीगेट डिमांड से कम होता है जो डिजायर्ड होता है फुल एम्प्लॉयमेंट के लिए. तो मतलब अगर इक्विलिब्रियम पहले ही अचीव हो जाए उसको हम लोग बोलते हैं डिफ्लेशनरी गैप. सर सिंपली, इफ एग्रीगेट डिमांड इज लेस देन फुल एम्प्लॉयमेंट लेवल ऑफ आउटपुट, if aggregate demand is less than full employment level of output, then it is a deficient demand. Deficient demand leads to recessionary gap or deflationary gap. Just learn it. Deficient demand leads to recessionary and deflationary gap. Had we got 2 or 3 more classes, then I would have talked about each one in detail by drawing graphs. But for the time being, no need. Just remember this. For the MCQ's point of view, if aggregate demand is less than full employment level of output, if aggregate demand for an output is less than full employment level of output, then we say there is deficient demand. Then we say there is deficient demand. Or recessionary. Recessionary means prices will fall. Recessionary means everyone prices will fall. Recessionary means everyone prices will fall. Recessionary means prices will be falling. Got it, sir? Yes, sir, we got it. When we talk about inflationary gap, everybody, when we talk about inflationary gap, everybody, when we talk about inflationary gap, everybody, then if aggregate demand, if aggregate demand for an output, if aggregate demand for an output is greater, is greater than full employment level of output, is greater than full employment level of output, then we say excess demand. मतलब demand जरूरत से ज्यादा है. Means economy doesn't have resources enough to satisfy this excess demand. So what will happen? Prices will rise. This will lead to, so excess demand leads to inflationary gap. Inflationary gap. So it leads to inflationary gap. Friends, I hope it's clear. If we were to talk about in details, had we got 5 marks question, then there was need, because we are doing MCQ, this much is enough. Had there been requirement, then each one of them deserve one class. I mean, they are so lengthy topics. About each one, you can take one class. Right, sir. So friends, I think now we should practice some numericals, not from multiplier. If you have noticed, from the Institute Math, I have skipped the multiplier topic because for our next class. All right. So now let's solve some questions and see what you have understood. Okay. I will not give you an option. Okay. Here it is. Question number 1, numericals. C equals to 200, Y equals to 1000. Okay. And S equals to, okay, first this one. Find APC and APS. First of all, do this one. Then we move on to next one. Come on, guys. Come on. See, APC equals to C by Y. APC equals to C by Y. So 200 by 1000. That is 0.2 is APC. Now, friends, what is APS? 1 minus 0.2, that is 0.8. Now, friends, the next question. Question 2. Calculate APC and, sorry, not APC, rather MPC and MPS from following data. Following data. You have been told that national income will be equal to, you have been told that national income equals to 2,500. Autonomous consumption expenditure is 300. Investment expenditure Come on, everyone. Waiting. Let's see how many answer this one correctly. See, I'll help you out. For equilibrium condition, you all know that aggregate supply will be equal to aggregate demand. है ना? Assume that economy is in equilibrium. They have told that economy is in equilibrium. If not told, then also you will have to assume that only, that the economy is in equilibrium. You will have to assume that. Now, if they've assumed that economy is equilibrium, even if not mentioned, you got to assume that, then okay, then aggregate supply equals to aggregate demand. Step one, agreed, disagreed, agreed, disagreed, agreed, disagreed. Come on, everyone. In the chat box, agreed or disagreed? You all tell me. Yes, sir, we do agree. Now, dear students, aggregate supply is nothing but national income. We have established that. Since the question is from two sector, you all know aggregate demand equals to consumption expenditure plus investment expenditure, because it's a two sector question. So how did you come to know? Because consumption and investment data are given. Acha, sir, we do understand that. Is this much clear? Yes or no? Agreed, disagreed, everyone. Because this is the equilibrium condition, that in equilibrium, AS is equals to AD. All of you have to confirm. All right, great. Now, dear students, you see, you all know that C, the equation for C I had made you write. I'll write it down again for you. It is A plus BY. Oh, sir, you are correct. You have taught this to us. Now see, Y is how much? 2500. So why we are putting here 2500? A, that is autonomous consumption expenditure. That would be 300. B is MPC is what we got to find out. So why we will take 2500, because Y is nothing but income. I've told you. Oh, And what is I? I is investment expenditure. It is 100. Oh my God. Sir, now we realize our mistake. Is this clear till here so far? If clear, then I will proceed with the next step. Come on. Yes, sir, we do agree with you. So if that's the case, then 2500 minus 400, because 300 and 100 are moving this way, equals to B into 2500. So 2100 equals to B into 2500. 0, 0 gone. Acha. Now you have got your answer B, which is MPC. Now you've got to translate it into decimal terms. So into 4 into 4, it becomes 84 by 100, which is 0.84. Boom. 0.84. Now you all know MPC is 0.84, and all of you know that MPC plus MPS is equals to 1. So MPC you put 0.84, MPS you still have to find out. Therefore, MPS, my lovely friends, would be minus 1 minus 0.84. So MPS would be 0.16. The game is done. The sum is done. How many of you have understood? I'm sure it's very easy. Most would have understood this so far. Jairam, it's 0.16, not 0.016. The two are different. The two are different. Jairam, my dear friend, the two are different. You have written 0.016, it would be 0.16. Great. So चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. Let's move on to the third numerical. An economy is in equilibrium. Calculate national income. Calculate national income. So what data you have been told? You have been given autonomous consumption, the value of which is 100 crores around. You have MPS, that is 0.2. You have investment expenditure, that is equal to 200. Shoot now, shoot. Okay, Palak, congratulations. Come on, everyone, do it now. So see, again, we got to find out national income. And you see, you all know national income, that is Y, is equals to, or I should start with the first step, na? AS equals to AD. You all know AS is nothing but Y, that is national income. Aggregate demand is C plus I. That's cool, sir. Sir, Y और national income we got to find out. ठीक है? और क्या है? ठीक है ना? So now we know C is equals to A plus BY. You all know this, right? C equals to A plus BY. Wow. Very good, Divya. Correct answer, Divya. Perfect. First answer was given by Divya, and that's fantastic to see. So Y is equals to A is autonomous consumption, which is 100. P is 0.2. Okay, no. P is not 0.2 because you see it is MPS. B is MPC. So first you need to find out B. B equals to MPC equals to 1 minus 0.2 because you all know MPC plus MPS is 1. So 1 minus 0.2, that is 0.8. Y plus I is given to us as 200. As 200. Very good, Raj. Okay, great. So now Y, this 0.y, 8y is coming this side. So it becomes y minus 0.8y equals to 100 plus 200. That's 300. So dear students, it becomes 0.2y is equals to 300. And therefore y equals to 300 by 0.2. If we multiply 10 above and below, it becomes 3000 by 2, which is 1500. So rupees 1500 crores or whatever the figure was will be your answer. I am sure you understood it, guys. Yes, sir. This is clear, sir. If this is clear, then I'll move on to the next numerical. I'm sure you all are enjoying the numerical practice as well. Yes, I acknowledge the speed has to be fast. You know, you all understand. Moving on to the question 4. See, the consumption is given as 20 plus 0.65, 6y, and investment is I equals to 10 plus 0.2y. 10 plus 0.2y. What will be equilibrium level of national income? Very easy question, rather. what will be equilibrium level of NI, national income? Shoot. All right, sir. Let's shoot then, sir. See, AS equals to AD. Now, AS, that is aggregate supply, is equals to AD is consumption plus investment. Now, Y equals to C is 20 plus 0.6Y. C is 20 plus 0.6Y. And I is 10 plus 0.2Y. I is 10 plus 0.2Y. Now, friends, Y equals to 20 plus 30. 20 plus 10, 30. 0.6 plus 0.2 is 0.8. Of course. Very good. So now people have understood the game. So 0.2Y equals to 30. Therefore, Y equals to 30 by 0.2. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Most of you gave the correct answer. I could see that. Friends, hopefully till this point, whatever we have discussed is clear to everybody of you, each one of you. Okay. Another question I am giving you. C equals to 100 plus 0.75y. I equals to 1000. Calculate equilibrium level of Y and C, that is consumption. Do it fatafat, guys. Come on, everybody. This is the last one for the day. So you all are correct in telling that, sir, AS equals to AD. AS is Y, AD is C plus I. Y is Y, C is A plus BY, which is given as 100 plus 0.75Y. Plus I is given to us as 1000. So Y minus 0.75Y equals to 1100. So Y minus 0.75Y is 0.25Y equals to 1100. So Y is 1100 by 0.25. 4. So Y is equals to 4400 by 1. Therefore, Y equals to rupees 4400. Now, what is C? C is 100 plus 0.75Y. 100 plus 0.75. Y is 4400. So 100 answers. I hope it's clear, everybody. Friends, I hope we have done this well enough for you to grab the fundas easily. Next discussion, dear students, is going to take place in our next class, where we are going to talk about investment multiplier from Keynesian economics. That's it for the day. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you very much. Okay, goodbye. Thank you.